gonna tell them, okay, how I feel, they will be judged. So that's why they're so scared of talking about how they feel. And even when they need any counseling services, they are so scared that how about my peer group? What will gonna they think? Am I mad? Am I having some mental disorders? No, it's fine. Talk how you feel. How can we improve the services? How come people know about our services, right? So I asked them, you can do one thing. Number one, at the orientation. Number two, at the first class, when you tell them about other different portals student can use, you should also tell them how our services are helpful.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the All of You podcast, the podcast where we sit down with all of you. And today we are extending the olive branch to somebody who I've been connected to through LinkedIn. Surprise, surprise. I seem to spend a lot of time with people that I've met on LinkedIn. But I'd like to introduce you all to my next guest, Parul.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Parul.
Thank you for inviting me.
Listen, I am honored and I am so looking forward to this conversation. Just so everybody knows, we literally just met. I gave her my address. Actually, let's rewind. So, Parul, why are you here? Like, how did we come to be connected? And maybe what was your original sort of thought behind reaching out to me on LinkedIn?
I think I followed you on LinkedIn from so many months, and I always wanted to reach out to someone where I can spread the awareness that what is going actually inside the closed doors.
Interesting.
So I think I approached to you so that I can talk about the immigration. I can talk about how we face what is happening in this world so that people should know the actual pictures.
Yes. Listen, and I want to also support you in that maybe some of the things that come out of this conversation might be difficult to talk about. And I think very importantly, it's that you're not alone and there are so many people out there who are feeling a certain way about certain things. And we're going to navigate this conversation very respectfully, and we're going to navigate this conversation like adult professionals.
Yes.
So let's get started very first, right off the bat. Why Canada? What were some of your sort of inspirations to originally come here? And what, now that you've been here, has changed from your original perspective?
Okay. That's a very tricky question.
Isn't it? Yes.
So why Canada? So when the COVID hit in India, so we all moved into work from home situation. And for me, working from home 24/7 was a torture.
Oh, yes.
And plus when you have people around, because in India we have a culture where we have to think about society if we are doing anything. We want their assurance, we want their permission to even do anything new in our life. And at some point I felt so suffocated that why do I have to run my life asking about what do I do? They are not who will tell me what do I do. That's my life, right?
Yeah.
So I spoke to my husband and I said, this is the right time. I always wanted to go abroad. I always wanted to uplift my skills. So let's plan something. And that's how I planned. Okay, so Canada at that time was the safest country to move, because from there it was like they have a lot of jobs, it's so secure, people will get the permanent residency very easily, most safest country.
And people were getting PR very easily at one point. Like the scores were 320 or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I had few friends who said, yeah, come, the score is not too high. As you mentioned, it's 320, 350, you will get your PR easily. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, if I'm investing something, I'll invest where I'll get some return on investment. So we decided to come to Canada. I came alone in 2020-21 September.
Nice.
I studied for 2 years. And then fortunately, within a month, with God grace, I don't know how, I got a job in post-secondary institution. But now if you ask me my perspective of in Canada, I will not blame any government. I will not blame any college. I think it's the circumstances that we all are facing. And it's so heartbreaking for me when I see students, when I meet students, and when they tell their stories. It's very difficult to take it.
Yeah.
Now it's not at all easy.
Yeah.
People have invested $30,000 on their education. They are going back.
I can't tell you how many times, Parul, I've had students come to me at their wit's end and say, I made a big mistake. I came here and I made a big mistake. So maybe you can elaborate for me, like when you're applying to schools to come to Canada, what are the recruiters, or like what are the people over in India telling you about what the experience will be like here in Canada? Do you know what I mean? Like you're obviously being told this is what's gonna happen. Like, so how do you choose like which program you're gonna go into? Can you talk to me a bit about that process?
Yeah, sure. You know what? You will be shocked if I tell you.
Then tell me.
I was working with a very big immigration consultancy in India called IDP Education,
Okay.
who is now the co-owner of your English proficiency test, IELTS.
Ooh.
So I was a senior counselor for United States. I spoke to my Canadian counselor there. Okay, I want to go to Canada. So what are my options? I'll be very honest with you, Shannon, without any shame in this. I was specifically looking for a PR. I want to get rid of that country.
I think most people are.
It has no opportunities. There, still they treat women like slaves. And I don't want that because I have seen my mother, I have seen my grandmother. So I don't want that same thing to happen. Okay, I don't know if I have to say this or not, but all the agents across the world, they have a list of all the colleges where they will pitch you so that they can get the commission.
I was going to say there must be some sort of incentive that every
Yes.
student that they get to commit to such and such then they get paid. But get your bag. Like if that's your job and that's how you get money,
Yeah.
You only know what to do if and maybe you're not even questioning the morals and ethics or whatever behind what it is you're
Yeah.
contributing to.
That's true. And you know, the best part, I was working with that company. They had that policy that they will never charge students. They will do the process for free because they had that in their mind that we'll get the commission from the college. We don't want both-sided money. If we are getting from one side, we'll do it for free. So she guided me, okay, this is a college and if you want to do something in communications and business, so go for strategic marketing communications. And I was like, okay, because they know better, right? They are the one who are guiding students all day. So this is how she said, and this is how I came.
Wow. Yeah, I've always sort of wondered, and I mean, I have to be honest with you, I've worked at 4 academic institutions and I can see a blatant difference in the types of students that I see at different schools. So that to me tells me that there are different recruiters with different agendas that, pardon my French, but I'm just going to say it, farming students to the F word, farming students. But I can tell at some schools, and I'm not going to say any specific names on this podcast, but some schools, the quality of the student or the commitment from the student is much higher in some schools than other schools. And I think that's because they're just bringing anybody in because education has become somewhat of a business instead of what it's supposed to be, which is experiential and all of those good things.
That's true, because you know what, I get a lot of students, and when I ask them, okay, so why did you choose this program? Well, I don't know, my agent said go for this program, it's easy, you'll get the PR, you don't have to study much, so I came.
Yeah.
And then they failed.
Yeah. Can I tell you too, like depending on which campus I teach at, will determine what the attendance will be like. Like if I teach at one particular campus in one particular geographical region, I can tell you if it's a class of 35 students, 6 of them will show up consistently. Other geographical locations, it might be a little bit better, like a class of 35, maybe 12 will show up, but only on evaluation days do you ever see every student show up. And then you're like, who are you? Like, I haven't seen you in 8 weeks. Like, welcome back. And then they're the first ones to come and say, Professor, like, can I have an extension for da da da? And it's like, you don't apply yourself. But then I always go back to exactly what you said, is that most of them are not here for the education. They just need that piece of paper as this like golden ticket for whatever it is that.
I know. You know, the problem is they don't study, they failed, and then they cannot file their work permit, which means they cannot do the jobs.
Yeah.
And if you don't do the job, you'll not get the PR.
Yeah. But explain to me where you think the mentality comes from. Like you're coming here and spending like triple the amount of tuition. Your tuition prices are astronomically inflated because education is a business. And you come here and spend $30,000 or $40,000, whatever $1,000 you spend just to throw it all away and work nights in an Amazon factory. Like,
okay. A lot of people from India, when they come, they either come by the influence of their friends and family that, okay, that's the pride. If that state, particularly, let's say one state in India. So they say, oh, that's a pride if our kid will go to Canada. Okay. Then only people will say, oh, I have a daughter. Do you want to get married? Because the status that he's an immigrant or he moved to abroad. But at last, what after that?
Right.
They just come with one suitcase, right? They don't know what life throws at them. They are okay doing anything. With that, what you asked me, I would like to share a honest situation which I went through few days. There was a student who randomly called me saying that the owner in Canada kicked her out.
Like saying, the landlord?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to go. And she failed one subject. She said, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't know. And she cried at 11 o'clock. I said, okay, that student, I managed somehow her accommodation. But the mindset of that student was, I am only looking for jobs in GTA area, number one. Number two, I am looking for the jobs where I can be a household help to someone, where they give me a basement for free, food for free. I'll do their dishes. I'll do their laundry. I'll take care of their kids. I said, are you serious? So when you came to Canada, did you came with that mindset?
That you wanted to be a nanny?
That? She said, yeah, I want to do that. I don't care. I'll see. I'll ask them. And that breaks my heart.
Yeah. Big time.
He said, my lawyer said from India, you can do it. This is how you can ask them to sponsor you and you can get the PR.
It's so sad.
It's brutal.
It's like selling your soul for a false sense of pride. I don't know, like a false sense of something. Yeah. I have heard of some horrific circumstances regarding housing, like people arranging their housing before they arrive here and thinking that somebody's going to pick them up at the airport and basically being abandoned at the airport. And then when they finally do get to wherever they thought their accommodation was, that it's some like crack den in some ghetto area of town and 14 people are already living there. And it's scary. And I know you earlier, you said, I'm not going to blame the government and blah, blah. I am. I'm going to blame the government. This is not Parul's opinion. This is my opinion. But I didn't realize 7, 8 years ago when I started teaching, I found a tremendous amount of pride in being aligned with an academic institution, thinking like you're contributing to developing the future leaders in the future generation and you're doing a good thing by teaching people. And I never even paused to think for a moment about how over 8 years, the class sizes kept getting bigger and then everything was weirdly online. And at one academic institution, not naming any names, but an online class with 70 people 70, where I can't enforce webcam. And I literally spend 2 semesters with 2 sections of 70 people, 140 students.
Oh my God.
Farming these students. And then if I fail someone, they appeal it, and then the associate dean passes them anyway. So I recently, full transparency, I wrote an email to an associate dean, and I said, morally and ethically, even if I could continue teaching in this program, I wouldn't, because I don't believe in what it is happening in this program. And I said, for the sake of everyone involved, I hope that a thorough evaluation of this program occurs before any more people get welcomed into this program. Like, I even said very explicitly in my email, I said, like, I comfortably could have failed more than half of the class given the work that's produced. And these are students that are in their final year, final semester. And I could comfortably fail them all. But I can't, because you pay me a flat rate to teach 140 students, and the amount of emailing and paperwork, I would be getting paid $2 an hour if I worked out the equivalent to it. So that's my like raw perspective from an instructor's lens. And so I don't know if any of that resonates with you, or if, you know, the listener out there even kind of realizes the circumstances and how bad they actually are. But there's an incredible scope in terms of the young professionals that are committed to their learning when they come here versus people that are just not here for the right reasons.
You know, the ratio, if you talk about, it's only 70% people who are not at all bothered. They just came with nothing, no plans.
70-30, you'd say?
Yeah, so 30
I
are
would
the
say
one
that's
who,
very accurate.
Yeah, so 30 are the one who really know what they want to do in their life. They have to come to the classes, they have to manage their part-time jobs, they have to submit their assignments on time because they have focused. They know what they see themselves after 4 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
But 70% of the chunk are just came with a suitcase saying, oh, I have a relative in Brampton,
Brampton, the center of the universe, the center of the universe. Yeah, right?
There is someone we're gonna take. They said, oh, don't worry. You don't do the assignments. It's fine. They will pass you. You do the appeal. There is a process. They will pass you. So I think students have that mindset, you know, and then they come up with a statement. My professor was racist. Oh, that's why that professor failed me. I said, why didn't you study? Other people are also passing with flying colors.
Yeah.
So stop blaming.
But you know, another thing too, is that if some students spent half the amount of time actually applying themselves to learn the content as opposed to figuring out ways to cheat, like, I think so many students spend so much time trying to find the content for sale online, or paying someone to do the assessment for them, or like, if you spent half the amount of time actually applying yourself to learn something as you did figuring out ways to go around the actual task at hand, we would have so many more successful people, I think. At least I would hope.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? When you talk about assignments and all that stuff, there are a lot of WhatsApp and Instagram group.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Where they say, oh, you want to do the assignment? $20, $10.
Guaranteed
$50.
80%. Guaranteed 80%.
And students are doing that. They are not attending classes. They are doing full-time jobs, maybe on SIN or whatever.
Yeah.
And they are sending their assignments to do something else. So what did you learn?
I know.
What knowledge you have?
I know. I really started losing faith in the system probably, I don't know, maybe around this time last year, because I started learning about all of this stuff. Like, I'm sitting down with students from all walks of life and people from all sorts of backgrounds and perspectives. But when I started to learn, like, there's even content from a course that I taught online for people to go and find the entire midterm and the entire final exam. And I'm like, well, crap. Like, what am I doing? Lecturing to these, you know, blank squares on a screen. One class that I taught, this girl was just openly at work. And when I would call on her, or it was like her presentation, like her final presentation for her culminating, like worth 35% of her grade, she was literally at work.
Oh my God.
To deliver the presentation. And I was like, how can I even effectively evaluate you? Like you're not even coming on camera. Like, and then, you know, and listen, I am the biggest supporter of mental health and well-being and work-life balance and quality of life. Like that's my whole, my whole mission is to be talking more about those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, the amount of excuses that I get from students, they range from my brother had an allergic reaction to I slept through the midterm to I had to work this shift because I had to pay my bills. And it's like, but where's the accountability? Like, where's the accountability? It doesn't teach you anything for how to succeed in the workplace. If you can't apply yourself and be accountable in the education experience, how are you going to be able to succeed in the work experience?
Yeah, that's like, how come that situation dropped when you failed? At that particular point of time, someone died.
Yeah.
Someone got hospitalized. Like,
or how do you sleep through the midterm? You sleep through the midterm and the final and you still expect me to pass you?
no.
And the other this is turning into a little bit of a bitch fest, but this is all coming from me. This is me using this precious person as a sounding board. But like, you don't show up for the midterm, you don't show up for the final, and then you expect that I'm going to pass you, and then you appeal the grade, and then it happens anyway. So it's like, you're just perpetually supporting this stuff that's happening. So how do you fix it? You can't.
You can't, because that's a pattern. No.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. I have a lot of, opinions on situation. And I mean, for me, it was last year. I don't know if it was around this time last year or maybe nearing closer to the end of the summer that we started to hear that the government was going to be restricting the number of international students that they were going to bring in. Yeah. And I went into panic mode because I was like, hold the phone. I just launched a not-for-profit to help students and not selfishly, I know that's very selfish, but then I was also like, oh my God, if more students don't come in, then that means there won't be courses, which means I won't get classes to teach. And it was right around that time that the veil was lifted above my eyes and I was like, holy crap. I thought over the last 7 years, how many millions on millions on millions on millions of dollars have been brought in. And I was like, oh my God, this is a bad situation. This is a really bad
honestly,
situation.
Thank you for talking about this. This is really sad. When I came in 2020-21, I can see how many students came to Canada. So the government invited everyone.
Anyone, you get it, and you come on, and you come on.
And the worst part is colleges were giving admissions to any background. You did business, you can get in healthcare.
Yeah.
You did PSW, you can get it in any field. And now when they know, there are no jobs, there are no accommodation, we have to cut down. Where were you 2 years back?
Right.
When you literally had a lot of money inside your pockets.
Yeah.
And now you are saying we need to cut down.
Yeah.
And because of that, how many families will suffer who will get laid off from their work? There are a lot of single moms I know. There are a lot of people who are literally running their family. And if they are getting laid off, who will gonna do? So it's basically people will suffer. The government will not suffer. The institute will not suffer. It's only the people who literally work their, sorry for using this word,
work their asses off. Yeah.
Yes, they are suffering. And it's a torture. It's heartbreaking to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't help but feel like the government didn't have, like there was zero plan. There was zero plan in terms of like infrastructure, housing, yes. But like on what planet does it make sense to have 63 sections of project management? You can't tell me we're producing that many effective project management managers. And I think because we were pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, you can only push the system so far before it bends. And then when it bends, it breaks.
Yes.
And now we're in the break mode. And it just feels like everybody I know who's been aligned with academic institutions, we're all freaking out and nobody is coming forward to talk about it. So I think it's really important for me to acknowledge that, you coming here and talking about this is a very brave thing. And I said before we even started recording, like, when you identify something wrong within the system, no change is ever going to occur until more people are open and honest about the real experiences that are occurring. Because otherwise, we're all just wandering through life thinking everything is hunky-dory and perfect. And meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of people are struggling and nobody's talking about it. It can be an awfully lonely place to live when you feel like you're alone.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Thank you for talking out about
No worries.
this.
I still face that there is no freedom of speech.
Yeah.
I feel that. I don't know. Some days I feel that if people will come and talk, what's the actual pictures behind the closed doors, it will gonna backfire them.
Yeah.
I feel so, right? Because everybody knows what's going on around us. Everybody knows that people are getting laid off. Everybody knows that what's the institutions, the government, the immigration system is so crashed. But nobody is ready to talk about it.
Everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid to speak out. It's like, if I speak out, then I'll never get a job again. Well, do you even want to work for a company that, isn't going to, how do I put this? Like, all right, I know how to put this. So one of my favorite quotes right now is, anything you lose by speaking your truth isn't a loss, it's an alignment. So if you lose something by being real and human and authentic, if you lose that thing was not meant to be in your life to begin with.
That's true.
And I think rejection, that my other favorite quote or saying is, rejection is the universe's protection or God's protection. So even though this horrific thing is happening, like, I'm unemployed. I guess I shouldn't say I am totally unemployed. I've been offered one class, from teaching over full-time hours 8 months ago. I am teaching one class, and that's not enough to live off of. No. That's not enough to, pay for my home and whatever. But it's like, I have to believe that whatever is happening is resulting or going to result in something better, or trying to have faith that the universe is protecting me from something. And that can be very hard to maintain that consistent attitude.
I know. Very hard.
Especially when you see all of the bullshit. You know what I mean?
I know. Sometimes you think that you literally leave your families behind. You literally leave your comfort zone, and you started everything with 2 suitcases here with the hope that something will gonna be good. Your career will get built. And one day you get an email saying, hey, blah, 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 we are laying you off. Your whole career, your whole dreams.
Vaporized.
How do you feel? Like, I just know one thing, that we all are numbers and we can get removed at any time.
No,
anywhere.
None of our jobs are safe. None of our jobs are safe in this economy.
No. You talk about any industry, you talk about IT, you talk about healthcare. Nothing is secure.
No.
Nobody's job is secure. Anybody can get laid off at any specific time.
And it can be totally out of the blue. It can be completely unexpected.
Yes.
Yeah. And that, I think, is very sad, especially for our younger generation, because you're just trying to find your place in the world, and you're just developing that self-worth and confidence about you. And then you get the rug pulled out from underneath you, and you're like, but what have I just been spending the last however many years or even decades of my life working towards? Now it just vaporizes and vanishes before my eyes. Oh, another thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned to you was how all of these programs are now just being eliminated, that like the current cohort that's in it, once this cohort graduates, it's just like, bye-bye, this credential no longer exists.
Oh my.
Like how that must feel to somebody that literally just spent how many years and thousands of dollars to discover that their credential is now not even a credential anymore.
Oh my God. I know. That's why I said it's a business.
Yes.
Government got the money
Yes.
and now they can kick them off anytime.
Yeah.
Why did you invited so many students? Were you not aware that these programs, you will not gonna do it? At one point of time when students have hopes, you come up with the news, sorry, so we are discontinuing this program.
What? Like,
How
so
do
does
you-
that mean that my entire education is null and void now? Like, that's how it would feel, or at least that's how I would feel. I don't know.
I hope things gets better. I hope the government...
Well, it can't get any worse.
Oh, that's so true. That's
Like,
so
how much
true.
worse could it possibly get at this point?
That's so
Oh
true.
my goodness. Okay. All right. Let's take a moment. Let's pause. Let's deep breath. Okay. So we've identified the problems. Okay. Maybe you don't know the answer. I don't know the answer either. But are there any obvious solutions? Like, are there any obvious things that we could be doing, or things that we could say to people out there that are struggling? Like, do you have any words of wisdom just in terms of how this problem could be improved? Either from your lens as recruitment, or in terms of what makes sense in terms of like class sizes, or how we're supporting international students. Is there a better way for us to be supporting international students?
I think yes, 100%. Because there should be a proper system to assist a student. No matter how, like,
What do they need? What do they need? What do international students need to be supported?
they need a proper support by their institution. They need a proper guidance. So for an example, if student, let's say, is not coming to attend the classes, so it should be, according to me, these things should be a little bit strict as compared to...
Participation should be a part of evaluation.
Yes, instead of telling them, oh, you failed, now you can do the appeal, stop them at the right point when they are
Literally.
at their first class. So add that into your curriculum.
Yeah.
You should have the attendance daily. No matter how you get your expenses done, you have to come.
And it shouldn't be only worth 5%. It should be worth 15, 20% of your grade. Your participation in how you show up and how you contribute.
Yes.
100%. I agree.
That's so true.
I don't think that that's too much to ask, that we have people actually have an accountability to showing up and applying themselves. That's a great one. I love that.
That's...
Any other ideas?
And I think talk how you feel, because I have seen a lot of people, they are killing themselves. Inside they are not talking how they feel. Nobody is here to judge you.
Is that a cultural thing? Like, are you encouraged to talk how you feel at home?
Not really. Not really. Because even a lot of people, if they're gonna tell them, okay, how I feel, they will be judged. So that's why they're so scared of talking about how they feel. And even when they need any counseling services, they are so scared that, how about my peer group? What will gonna they think? Am I mad? Am I having some mental disorders? No.
Yeah.
It's fine. Talk how you feel. Everybody knows. Nobody is here to judge you.
Yeah. In fact, I respect people more when they are willing to be honest and vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like, I have such a profound respect for somebody that is forthcoming in, like, yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I have such a profound respect for people that are emotionally intelligent and comfortable in that emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
We need more of that in 2025, for sure.
A lot more.
Let me ask you also in terms of support for international students, because I can tell you I've been focusing on this for a couple of years. And in terms of career development, like as an instructor, I was finding in my courses that sometimes the things that I was teaching didn't exactly prepare people, in my mind, for the real workforce. So I would be very intentional about giving people tips and tricks for applying for jobs, and this is what you got to do in an interview and stuff. And I don't necessarily think, and again, this is just my humble opinion, I don't necessarily think that the college has a robust enough career development program for internationally trained people. It's kind of feels like it's like, well, here's the career services office, show up, it's open between here and here. But how many students actually use that service or even know that it exists?
I think it's very less.
Yeah.
Very less, because students are not aware about their services at college, and they have paid shit ton of money.
Oh my
in their
God, so
tuition
much
fees.
money.
They didn't even know that they have paid a lot of money under their tuition fees.
Your gym membership, like there's so many things that fall
Yes,
under your
yes,
tuition, and that
yes.
career development is a part of that. But I just don't see enough rah from the college. Like, go to your career
Awareness,
development
yes.
counselor. This is available to you. It's almost like you're like a hidden little office in the back little corner and nobody knows that you're there.
You know what? Somebody asked me, I'll not take the name, that how can we improve the services? How come people know about our services, right? So I asked them, you can do one thing because at the starting, or in the number one, at the orientation, number two, at the first class, when you tell them about other different portals student can use, you should also tell them how our services are helpful, how they can avail because each institute have thousands of services, but how many students are aware? Nobody. Then why are those services running? For whom?
It's almost like there should be a mandatory matching with a guidance counselor that you have to check in with each semester at the midterm and the final, where they check in, they look at your grade book, they identify if you're struggling with employment or housing, and you have a checkpoint midway and at the end of each semester so that your guidance counselor is ensuring that you're on the right track.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Because then first of all, you have someone that you have to report to. And I think when you come here and there's no mom and dad, and you're living in a house with a bunch of, other people that are lost, and you're just surviving every day, there's so little accountability. I keep resorting back to accountability, but that's what it feels like is the root of everything is where does the accountability lie in yourself, and how is the organization accountable to your success? Yeah.
It's very blurry.
It's very blurry.
So
and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but do you know anything about the statistics that we see when it's like such and such a college will say 90% of our graduates are employed? 90%. Like, okay, are they employed in their field? Are they employed as pizza delivery drivers?
That's a good one. So I think none of the college, I think, they always say, okay, 90% or 80%, we have a success ratio, but where?
Yeah.
Where? What's the stats?
It's such a misleading statistic. It's so misleading. It's probably the 70-30 thing again.
Yes, completely.
Probably 70% are employed somewhere, but only 30% are even remotely close to being in alignment with their field of study.
Because in my batch, I know it's only 20% of the students who got their field job. 80% are doing non-field stuff. So that's the one class. So just imagine how many classes,
imagine
how many
that
students.
30 or 63 sections of project management. Like, oh my gosh, how many of those project managers are actually project managers who move forward with the PMP certification and whatever?
Because a lot of them just, come for the sake of coming. Agent said, oh, go for a project manager. Very easy program. They come, okay, 1 year program. We don't have to spend a lot. What after that?
Yeah. And it's really sad that there are some academic institutions that have developed very poor reputations for themselves. Again, not mentioning any names, but there are certainly some institutions that are doing things a little bit more morally and ethically sound than others, I would say. But I think it's obvious. I think anybody looking in on the situation can identify which schools are guilty and which schools are, maybe making a little bit more of an effort to be transparent in what's happening.
That's true.
I mean, I spoke out publicly in the Globe and Mail in March, and I didn't even know that the article was being published, but I woke up on a Tuesday morning and all of the views from all these administrators on my LinkedIn. Ooh. Yeah. And nobody said anything to me. Nobody from leadership even reached out to me. Nothing.
No?
Nope. They creeped me. They looked me up, but none of them sent me a message. None of them.
That's sad.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy.
Oh my God. That's sad. That's sad.
I know.
And I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, that with this immigration, with the low number of enrollments, it's only the colleges who are suffering, or is it the universities too?
Oh, universities too. Universities too. Yeah. There are a couple of the higher ranking universities I've heard that are perhaps going to go under.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've also heard, though, and this is just what I've heard, take this for whatever you want to take it for, but that, it just flew out of my brain. That there's a spike in the number of American citizens that are applying to Canadian institutions because they're trying to escape.
What?
They're trying to escape the States and come to Canada. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see a spike in the number of Americans that come through our institutions, but please think twice before you come here and spend your money.
That's new.
Yeah. I just heard that in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
That everything that's going down in America is terrifying young people, so they're all trying to get into Canadian institutions.
But do you think this will improve? Like, do you think, like, we do have an elections now, will it improve or will it get worse?
It's going to really depend on who gets in. It's really, really, really going to depend on who gets in. It's a very weird time to be alive. Parul. It's a very, very weird time to be alive. Well, so you're on the podcast, and I know that we could probably talk about this for 100 years.
Yes.
But is there anything else you can think of in terms of words of wisdom that you have for an international student that might be listening to this, or just any final sort of sentiments that maybe you have about this topic?
So, I have few things. So, number one, don't just come for the sake of coming. Please do your own research before coming.
It's not easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't think that coming here is going to be an easy thing, because it's not.
No, it's not. Do your self-study, please. And secondly, be a little patient, because at first you will not land in your field job, and that is fine, right? Mm-hmm. But keep applying. That's the only thing I will say. Keep applying and customize your resume, because I have seen people, they say, oh, we do have Indeed in our phone. We just do click, 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 click. I said, no, this is how then you will come crying that we are not getting jobs. You have to do the customization, right?
Yeah, I just saw this app on Reel on Instagram, that there's this job posting app that's just like swiping on Tinder, that you just swipe and you apply. Swipe, 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 swipe. Oh, don't want to go to that one. Swipe, 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 swipe. That's how you can apply to 700 jobs, just swiping like you would on a dating app. Yes. I was like, what is happening with the world? Like,
that's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
God. Yeah.
But I mean, listen, I stopped counting. The last I counted, I was at 140 applications. Yeah, 140. And I just keep getting rejection emails.
Oh my God.
It's sickening. It's a sickening feeling. And I feel like such a hypocrite, because 2 years ago I would have been like, just apply for jobs. It's so easy.
It's not.
It's so not.
It's not. And you know, the last thing, always do your networking.
Yeah.
Which is very important. If you want to survive and if you want something good, do networking. Connect people on LinkedIn. Talk to your professor. And with that, attend your classes.
Oh my,
because they are professionals. They have seen everything. They are from a very good industry. So what they will provide you, nobody can provide you. So do not miss classes.
Period. Exclamation mark. It will set you up for success. I will, on record, say that the 7 people that show up consistently for class are the 7 people that will be successful. Yeah. All 32 of you that don't show up, the 7 people that do, they are the only ones that I would ever put my name on a reference sheet for, and you need references. Like
Yes.
you can't just come here and use your reference from India.
No, you cannot do that.
You have to have people here who will vouch
Yes.
for you here.
Yes,
It's very important. I think networking needs to start the second you arrive.
I know. And you know what they think that, okay, if you're not attending the classes, if we are not doing any networking, and when we have a job, we'll just randomly message on LinkedIn, hey, can you refer me for a job? Do I know you?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Like, you can't ask someone, can you refer me for a job? You should maintain that connection with that person. It takes a lot of time. Trust me when I tell you this. I had a lot of people from, you name any university, you name any college, and it's everybody's there on my LinkedIn. And I do connect with them saying, hi, how are you? You know, I comment on their post. I will not go and send them the request, hey, can you refer me for this job? And they will
I
like,
can't
who
tell
the
you how
hell?
many messages I get. I mean, you would know, but I mean, I get so many messages. Hey, professor, I was in your class in 2022. I'm looking for a job. Can you get me a job? I've been very facetious lately, and I've been like, I'm looking for work too. Can you get me a job? That's my response now. Oh, I'm unemployed also. Can you get me a job? Like,
Yeah.
don't come to your professors begging.
No,
We are all looking for
no.
work too.
Everybody is in the same boat.
So that is I think that's probably the best point for us to end this episode on is networking.
Yeah.
Establishing yourself in this country takes so much more than just posting a couple of things on LinkedIn and applying to 57 million jobs on Indeed. Like, you have to get into the right rooms with the right people, having the right conversations at the right time, because as much as I want to say your education and what you learn in your education is valuable, equally as important is who you know who can vouch for what you know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Who you know who can vouch for what you know is going to be your ultimate ticket to getting where you want to be. And the only way you can find the right people is by stepping outside of your comfort zone, like you said in the beginning.
Yes. But
Yeah.
I would like to tell everyone that you're doing a great job, Shannon. Like, you are literally taking the reality out, which everybody needs to know this. Thank you for doing this. Seriously, because I follow you on LinkedIn and I know how, like, your stories are totally different from other basic podcasts. You set aside, like, you are different from a lot of people because you talk real stuff. Other people talk fake, and we really need to know what is going on. We want to listen what is the actual picture. We are done with the fake shit.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
Amen. I'm done with the fake shit too, girl. I'm done with the fake shit. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. I will tell you. I think I've left a dirty taste in some people's mouths with being honest. And I have, she's probably listening to this stuff and thinking I'm such a bitch, but like, she poignantly said this, I'm not going to say who, but somebody older and wiser than me said something like, you have to stop letting people know that you're in a rut. You have to stop being vulnerable with people. Nobody cares. Nobody cares when you're in a bad way. Nobody's going to help you if they know that you're struggling. And I'm like, I want to believe that you are wrong, and I want to believe that I can prove you wrong.
Yes.
So I am putting all of my faith in humanity that by being open and honest and transparent, that there will be people out there who see what I'm doing and hear the stories of people that are brave enough to also sit down with me.
Yes.
And whatever will be, whatever will come from these conversations, it's meant to be, in my opinion. And I just hope that more professionals like me will see what it is I'm doing and see value in being honest and transparent with people.
Yes, of course.
Because I'm sick of the bullshit too. Seriously.
I hope it ends soon, before it's too late.
Yeah. My goodness, I appreciate you. Wow. I feel so positive after this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I know you love these honest conversations. And if you love them so much, please take a moment to like and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that bell notification and join the All of You community. It helps. It's free. It's a way for you to engage with our content. And the algorithm is a tricky thing. So the more that you support us in these indirect ways, we can continue to put out content and have people on the show that have meaningful and important things to share with all of you. So we'll see you next time. Episodes drop on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.